Welcome to this explainer. Today we are looking at something we use every single day, artificial intelligence. We use it for learning. We use it for working. But, we have to ask a big question. Does this helpful tool actually limit how we think? Does it trap our minds inside a tiny box? Well, the source material gives us some pretty surprising answers. Let's jump right in.
Here is our quick map for today. 1. The core idea. 2. AI as your teacher. 3. The danger for beginners. 4. Real-world examples. And 5. The hidden rules in AI. Okay, let's get started. So here is a question. Can reading too much actually stop you from thinking? I know it sounds a bit strange, right? Usually we think reading more makes us smarter. But this question is incredibly important for how we live with computers today. As the sources point out, more information is not always better. Sometimes it just traps us. Moving to section 1, the core idea. Let's start by looking at a basic rule about how we humans learn. The source calls this thought saturation. Basically, your mind just gets full. Think about it like this. You read 4 or 5 books by the same author. You quickly pick up their main ideas, you understand their values. But what happens if you read 10 more books by that exact same person? You do not really learn new values. You just pick up extra little facts. You are now stuck inside a small box of that one person's ideas. Your deep thinking stops growing. This is the core rule we need to keep in mind. Now, section 2, AI as your teacher. Let's look at how new AI tools use this exact same rule. Let's break down how modern AI actually works. Tools like NotebookLM act like smart little agents for us. First, the AI searches hundreds of websites, but then it does something very important. It limits the information. It picks a maximum of, say, 10 sources. Finally, it writes a nice, neat report for you. Because it only uses a few sources, it perfectly copies that 4 or 5 books rule we just talked about. It gives you a very clear answer. But it also traps you in a closed box of information. Section 3, the danger for beginners. This creates a massive danger, especially for people learning brand new things. Imagine a brand new worker at a big company. The company uses an AI teacher to train them. Now, this AI only reads the official company documents. So it shows a perfect, clean picture of the company. But out in the real world, things are messy. The real world has complex problems. People have different opinions. But the new worker only sees the perfect picture on the left. The AI becomes their first, and really, their only view of the world. The worker just cannot see the real world outside this AI box. And this is a major problem. The worker completely trusts the AI. Why? Because it uses smart quotes. It uses footnotes. It looks like pure facts. Because of this, the worker stops asking big questions. If they feel something is wrong in the real world, they actually blame themselves. They just accept the official box, and sadly, they lose their own ability to think deeply. Moving on to section 4, real-world examples. The source compares this AI box to real history and how different governments try to teach people. Different places have always tried to keep people inside a small box of ideas. The source compares AI to these different types of societies. In North Korea, there is very strict control. There's only one official source. In China, there are carefully selected history lessons. These guide feelings and memories. And what about the West? Well, we have internet bubbles. People think they are totally free, but they only see what the computer algorithm shows them. The tools are different, but the goal is exactly the same. Control the box. Now, sometimes people realize they are trapped in a box. The source points out that this often leads to conspiracy theories. When people feel trapped, they simply stop trusting experts. They stop trusting the media. So what happens next? They create their own fake stories. They do not use deep thinking to find the actual truth. Instead, they just jump from the official box straight into a fake box. This really shows why a closed mind is so dangerous. This brings us to section 5. Hidden rules in AI. This is perhaps the most crucial point. AI has its own hidden rules. The source actually did a test on a famous AI. They asked the AI to criticize different countries. When asked about North Korea, the AI gave direct, hard criticism. Very straightforward. But when asked about China, the AI changed its behavior entirely. It tried to sound extremely neutral. It added careful balance. It brought up other problems to sort of soften the criticism. The AI treated the two places very differently. It is clearly not a perfect mirror of reality. It has a hidden filter. So, where exactly do these hidden rules come from? The source lists 3 main places. First is user feedback.
The AI learns from millions of people talking to it worldwide. Second is the AI makers themselves. The engineers naturally put their own ideas and biases right into the code. And finally, there are safety rules. Companies want to avoid fights and bad press, so the AI tries to be too neutral. It actually avoids hard truths just to stay safe. The source gives us a really powerful quote here. The system deciding what you think is hidden inside your trusted tool. This is a completely new way to control thoughts. Think about the past. Bad leaders physically forced people to read certain books. You could see the control. You could fight it. But now, the control is hidden inside a very helpful assistant. You choose to use it. You trust it. Because you cannot see the filter, it is very hard to know when your thoughts are being shaped. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. Please remember this lesson the next time you ask a computer for the truth. Who chooses the sources for your AI? Yes, the AI gives you a clean, easy report, but somebody decided which 10 websites to use. Somebody decided those hidden rules. If we do not ask these big questions, we are just going to live our whole lives inside a very small box. Thanks for joining me today. Keep asking questions and keep thinking outside the box.